Hi, everyone, and welcome to our special one-hour pregame show. We'll take you right up to kickoff as the Iowa Hawkeyes and LSU Tigers get ready to tangle in the CapOne Bowl in Orlando. Here's a look at what we'll have for you over the next hour. We're going to visit live with Iowa Athletic Director Bob Bowlesby. We'll also talk with the Executive Director of the CapOne Bowl, and we'll show you some of the special treatment the Hawkeyes have gotten from some men in blue. Plus, we'll have a look at the Hawkeyes field leader, Drew Tate, and Zubin Mehenti will examine Iowa's sideline leader, Kirk Ferentz. And of course, it's all about the fans from the Hawkeye huddle to pregame tailgating. Zubin Mehenti and Tim Seaman, the sports director from our sister station, Channel 9, KCAU-TV in Sioux City, have spent the whole week in Orlando, and they join us now live from outside Citrus Bowl Stadium where the CapOne Bowl game will be played. Guys, how are the conditions as the game approaches?
Well, John, as always in Orlando, it is perfect. 74 degrees and partly sunny. Not to take any of the thunder away from meteorologist Brad Edwards or Gary Shore, but 74 degrees, partly sunny, perfect at kickoff, expected to be like that throughout the game. Now, it is 74 degrees, so we possibly can't be in Iowa on January 1st.
Yeah, I tell you what, and if the week finishes like this week has gone, it was cold here, very cold at the beginning of the week. It's gotten warmer. Today is by far the best day we've had, and there'd be no better finish than a Hawkeye victory later this afternoon. So
John mentioned the Hawkeye huddle. We're going to show you that in just a little bit, but the number of shirts and hats and caps and pajamas and towels and flags, you would actually think this is Iowa City, but instead we are in Orlando, but Hawk fans, true to their method of operation, true to their MO, have invaded a bowl site once again.
And not just today. It was the middle of the week. I will say the LSU fans may have been a bit late getting here, but the Iowa fans have been here throughout the week, and it's been interesting as the week has gone across. The numbers have grown and grown, and it is Kinnick number 2 here at the Citrus Bowl today.
Kinnick South for sure, as the LSU dance team and marching band joins us. Kind of rude, they're not stopping to talk to us. I'm not sure why.
Not even playing, let alone join us.
Maybe the Iowa marching band will be a little bit kinder, but John, that's going to do it for now. We're going to send it back to you. We got a lot of great stuff coming up, some live interviews, some good pieces on current Iowa stars, and Tim's going to talk to some Iowa stars who've made it big at the next level, the NFL. We'll have that for you in just a few minutes. Let's send it back to you.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We'll look forward to all of that. And coming up next, we'll visit live with Iowa Athletic Director Bob Bowlesby. Among the things we'll talk about, the economic impact of playing in a third consecutive January bowl game. That's next on our CapOne Bowl pregame special. At Carl Chevrolet, our price will provide plenty of capital for the Iowa athletic budget. It's also yet another opportunity for national exposure for Kirk Ferentz's program. Those are a couple of the topics which Tim Seaman would like to address with a very special guest. Tim?
Thanks very much, John. Indeed, joined by Iowa Athletic Director Bob Bowlesby. And Bob, first, thanks for coming by. Second of all, what a fall and what an early start to 2006, huh?
Well, it's a great way to spend New Year's Day, I can tell you that. And our guys have had a terrific year. You know, they've overcome a lot of obstacles, and they've hung together when it would have been easy to start pointing fingers. And you know, when you do that, this is what comes of it. Usually, you achieve some things that you weren't sure you could achieve earlier.
How important is a game like this? I mean, the university has the spotlight of the entire country today. I don't think there's any other game going on at this particular point today.
Yeah, this is the big stage. You know, it's ABC national television, and it's a lot of eyes watching the Hawkeyes and the Tigers. And you know, it's a big game, but win or lose, you know, it's a way to celebrate our season, and our guys prepare for it as if it's the most important game of the season. But you know, it probably isn't going to affect our recruiting very much. It isn't going to affect much of a springboard for next year, but it sure makes a cold winter that much warmer if you can have that sweet taste of victory in your mouth when this game's over.
And I know your winter got a little bit warmer a few weeks ago when Kirk signed a new extension, and I've heard him talk here this week where he said it'll have to. I won't even use the word he used there, but it doesn't sound like he's going anywhere for a long time, which has got to make a guy like you very happy.
Well, I think continuity is something that's really important to sports programs, and you know, having a football staff in place helps us to secure our financial future, and it helps to make it a lot of fun during the fall. And so, you know, Kirk fits hand in glove at the University of Iowa. That's the easiest way to say it, and he believes in the best things of college athletics, and I think he believes, as I do, that we've got a lot of good things going on, and as much success as we've had the last 3 years, I really think the best is ahead of us.
Especially when you look at that roster with only 15 seniors leaving this team. There's going to be renovations here at the Citrus Bowl in the years ahead. Likewise in Iowa City, you've got to be very excited to what has already begun there at Kinnick Stadium.
Well, it's going to be new water, new sewer, new electricity, all that stuff you need to do to a 75-year-old facility. But we're also going to widen the seats and make it more comfortable for people. We're adding a whole bunch of new restrooms, a bunch of new concession stands, a new entry plaza. And the best part about it is our architects really have a feel for what the tradition of the place. And so when it gets done, it's going to look like it's been there since 1929, and yet it's all going to be brand new. It's going to be a special place.
You're one of the influential people inside the NCAA, and the BCS has been talked about so much. Where do you see that situation at this point? Kirk referenced during the week a playoff system and then had to correct himself and say, of course, we don't have a playoff system yet. But how do you see things?
Well, I personally favor a +1 game. I think, you would get through a lot of the problems we're having this year with Utah and Auburn if you had a well orchestrated single game after the end of the major bowl games. And maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. I am adamantly opposed to a pro-style playoff. I don't think it's a good thing for college football. The bowl environment keeps a special importance on the regular season. Every game late in the year, a lot of teams have something to play for, and it's been very good for the Big Ten. It's been good for the University of Iowa, and I certainly favor keeping the bowl system strong.
Bob, we certainly appreciate your time. What a great week it's been, and nothing would be better than a victory a bit later this afternoon.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a gorgeous day to play football, and our guys have had a great week of practice. I'll be very surprised if we don't play a good football game.
That's at University of Iowa Athletic Director Bob Bowlesby. John, we'll come back to you. Much more here. There's a lot of interesting stories here in Orlando, and of course we'll be passing those along right up until the top of the hour.
All right, thank you very much, Tim, and special thanks to Bob Bowlesby for taking the time to do that interview with us. We appreciate it very much. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll examine the red carpet welcome that the two teams received in Orlando, and we'll show you how the Hawkeyes tried to gain a few new fans in the Orlando Police Department. That's next on our Capital One Bowl pregame special.
We're Midwesterners with a heritage that's been around for 131 years.
Great things about participating in a bowl game is the first-class treatment that you get from the host city, and Orlando has certainly rolled out the red carpet for the Hawkeyes and the Tigers this week. Let's go back to Orlando for more on that story with Zubin and Tim. And guys, they really do make you feel welcome, don't they?
They absolutely do, John. You got to remember two things in any bowl: fans and security. Now, if you're dealing with an Iowa football game, a bowl game, plenty of fans. But we had a little bit of a quirk this week because some of the security, Tim, got to become fans.
Well, and indeed, even beyond that, you talk about football, you talk about equipment, right?
Right.
Well, this security had some very special equipment to use during this week. As you mentioned, we've been really taken care of during the week. And part of that is the security. It's also not only the security, but just the accommodations, the friendliness, there's the gate you need to go to. Here's the exit you need to use. And amongst those is the security group and the officers that have been involved throughout the week, not only with the media, but with the teams. As the teams are assigned officials from the bowl committee, also the men with the badge and the holster.
And I think the funny thing is these guys really have no allegiance to the University of Iowa. It's a half and half situation. Half the city police force goes with Orlando. The Orlando police force goes with LSU.
Right.
The other half goes with Iowa. The question is, as of 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock today, are they still Hawkeye fans? Are they Hawkeye fans for life? Or do they start rooting for the teams that they'll be supporting in next year's Capital One
And as
Bowl?
you're about to find out in this next piece, it's hard to tell, even when they tell you they're a Hawkeye fan, even when they're wearing black and gold, it can still be difficult to discern if they're really telling you the truth. Here's more what I'm talking about right here.
Meet the newest member of the Hawkeye Nation. Officer Jim Young and about a dozen other members of the Orlando PD Motor Patrol have been styling in black and gold all week long.
Actually, the team takes care of us. They want to make sure that the team, since we're escorting the team, we want to make sure that we'll represent their team well, and that, once again, we're very glad that they're here.
Jim's no rookie.
Last week, we were escorting teams for the Champs Bowl here in town, and this week, the team came in early.
Universal Studios dinner or practice. The Motor Patrol's been flying with the Hawks.
We're around the team pretty much all day with the team, so we get to know most of the staff. Everyone has been absolutely fabulous with us here, doing a great job, so we're happy that everyone's here.
Ask a Florida native for an impression of Iowa, and you'll probably get corn. Jim says, all class.
Oh, they've been great to us. Yesterday actually when all the players got off the buses, every single player and coach came by and shook our hands and thanked us for being here for them. So they've been absolutely wonderful with us.
Now that's the kind of pub Iowa President David Skorton likes to hear. But can we really trust this guy? Do you know what your license plate says?
My license plate? No.
It says Cy. Do you have any idea who Cy is?
Cy is actually, well, I know who Cy is, but actually the CY is for city license plate here.
It's also the nickname of Iowa State.
I wasn't aware of that. Maybe we could just cover it up.
Indeed, maybe we should have covered it up, but I don't believe he ever did during the course of this week, as Jim was just one of the many friendly faces from the Orlando Motor Patrol. And I tell you what, they really have done a whale of a job, and it was good for the media, in fact, because you could tell when the Hawkeye charters were coming because you could hear the sirens from about 2 blocks away, so it's a little tip-off.
Yeah, so there's some new Hawkeye fans for you. The question is, will they remain Hawkeye fans? Speaking of Hawkeye fans, Thursday night at the Orange County Convention Center in downtown Orlando, we ran into, would you say, Tim, a few of them? Oh, about 20,000 gathering to say hi to the Hawks. It was a huge pep rally. They have it before more big Iowa events. And I think the interesting thing about this was a little bit of negativity. Matt Roth, a little bit of an incident. Let's talk a little bit about that. A little over-enthusiasm. It was all in good fun, but they ended up apologizing the next day. Let's talk a little bit about what happened
And
there.
even more than negativity, it was just one of those moments that you wish maybe didn't happen. It was all Iowa fans, and I think the majority of them there actually were sympathetic with Matt's feelings about today's game and the Tigers, but it's just one of those things you wish maybe wouldn't have happened.
And in a view of sportsmanship, it's important to mention that Kirk Ferentz issued an apology at the press conference the next day. Matt Roth did not speak, but issued a written statement saying that he was sorry for that. But as I've told you several times before, and we've talked about on the air throughout the year, Matt Roth plays with a tremendous amount of passion. He plays recklessly on the field. He goes all out. So trying to cage or contain anything that he tries to do maybe is a mistake. Sure, it's a little bit of a black eye, a little bit regrettable, but at this point, you got to let this guy play the way he plays to be as effective as he is on the field.
And I'm sure Kirk knew what he was throwing out there. He probably didn't expect that to happen, but he knew who he was throwing out there. And if there's one player that the Iowa fans indeed do associate with and are on a parallel, it would be Matt Roth. That psyched up, fired up, go Hawkeyes is definitely in Matt Roth.
Now, don't let us fool you. There were plenty of positive moments from this Hawkeye huddle, too. That Matt Roth was just an aberration. Here's some of the highlights from the great pep rally that took place with 20,000 of the Hawks' closest friends. They came from here, there, and everywhere.
Waterloo, Iowa. Gurney, Illinois. Storm Lake, Iowa. Boston, Minnesota.
The fans, the cheerleaders, and Herky, all here to see these guys. 5 seniors were on the stage, and about 20,000 fans were in the crowd, some who drove all day and all night for this very night. In the car for
19 hours.
22 hours. 22 all hours. Straight through. About 25 hours.
You drive, or was it just Dad?
Dad.
If you needed to get behind the wheel because of the long drive, would you be able to volunteer and say, Dad, get out of here, I'm driving?
Probably not.
Why not?
I'm not a very good driver, I go crazy.
To nobody's surprise, the predictions from these folks were a bit one-sided.
Iowa by 2 touchdowns. 18 Iowa, 7 for LSU. Go Hawks! Yeah! I got about a 24-21.
Do I even need to ask who?
No, it's Iowa, 24-21. Got them by 3.
If nothing else, the night looked like it would be a chance for the fans to meet the man most responsible for Iowa's success on the football field. Oh, wait a minute. That's not really him. All right, so Kirk Ferentz really wasn't there, but it's important to point out that 5 members of the Hawkeye football team were. And let's also remember that it was kind of a surprise when they came out. Gary Dolphin just said to the crowd, we've got a surprise for you. Yep. The crowd have assembled 20,000, didn't know the players were going to come out. Suddenly he says, say hi to the Hawkeyes, and the place erupts.
It did. It was a great setting, and it's just one of the many events that have been going on this week, thanks to the great folks at the Capital One Bowl Committee. And I know standing by next to Zubin to talk with you, we got to get to our Capital One Bowl rep who needs to move on to other things. But when we come back, he'll give us a special view as well from that side of the picture.
Yep, and John, he's talking about Tom Mickle, the executive director of Florida Citrus Sports in the Capital One Bowl, and he's coming up next. John, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, guys, and we'll get to break and come right back with Tom Mickle next on our Capital One Bowl pregame special.
We've had a lot of Taco John's in our life.
I like the beef and the tacos.
The meat tastes better here.
When I was in high school, after every football game, that's what we went and ate.
Lettuce is always fresh.
Cheese tastes like cheese. Taco shells are crisp.
Every order is made fresh.
They never skimp on anything.
Without a doubt, definitely the best tacos in town.
There's a whole lot of Mexican going on at Taco John.
Unless I'm going to my mom's house, I would say yes, these are the best tacos in town.
At Investors Management Group, we believe that identified and controlled risk has the power to create opportunity. And since 1982, we've used our perspective to help institutions and investors achieve their objectives consistently, responsibly, and comfortably.
Hi, I'm Dr. Thorsheim.
And I'm Dr. Sarasso.
Here at the
Prestige, Zubin Mehdi is standing by with the man in charge of this event. Z, take it away.
Thanks a lot, John. I think he has the longest business card title on record. Executive Director, Florida Citrus Sports, and Executive Director of the Capital One Bowl. We welcome in Tom Mickle, taking a few minutes, just minutes before the big game. Thanks for taking some time for us.
Oh, it's great to be here. Love to have all these Iowa fans in town. It's been a terrific week, and then just gorgeous weather today. Chamber of Commerce weather for us. So we're excited and thrilled to have Iowa in town.
Now, this is generally regarded as the top-tier, absolute best bowl game outside of the BCS. You kind of have a national television audience to yourself today before all the New Year's Bowls kick off. You've got two quality teams in Iowa and LSU. Talk a little bit about how thrilled you are to have a matchup like this on New Year's Day.
Well, this is kind of the matchup we dreamed about all season long. You know, early on, Iowa had a couple losses. LSU had a couple losses. Then they both started to gain some momentum. And about from November 1 on, we were kind of praying Iowa, LSU. Iowa's never been to Orlando. LSU was here 25 years ago. And, you know, they both seem to play better as the year goes on. LSU defending national champions. Iowa with 2 or 3 great seasons back-to-back. And the huge fan following for both teams. We were literally sold out the day we announced the game. Iowa took every ticket we had, and LSU took the rest of them. So it couldn't be better for a bowl director than to have these two teams here this year.
You mentioned it before, Iowa's never played in this bowl, although they are 1-6 in bowls played in the Sunshine State. Capital One Bowl, only one appearance for the Tigers, that was 1979. But is it a bit of a jinx? What goes on with the Hawks when they come to Florida? Their only bowl victory here was last year in Tampa at the Outback Bowl, hoping to turn the tables. At least the Hawk fans are here today.
Yeah, I think they'll do well. I think it'll be a great game. I think Iowa's going to play well. I think they can win. You know, I think the Big Ten at times maybe comes down here. It gets awful hot. I mean, today's about 80 degrees, so it's going to be a little more Louisiana-like weather than Iowa weather, but I really expect Iowa to play well. They're the home team, so let's, you know, get them a win. And 1-point victory for either side is what we'd be happy about and drive up the television audience.
Speaking of the state of Louisiana, it's just one state to the west. They have a tremendous fan following. College football is so huge in the South. LSU won its first national title in 45 years last season, so you'd expect them to bring a ton of fans. Are you pleasantly surprised? Everybody here in Iowa knows this. It's no secret in the Hawkeye State that this team travels well. Are you surprised, though, by the incredible crush of black and gold that you've seen?
Well, yeah, we'd heard about it because the Orange Bowl folks called us up when Iowa played down there and said it was just the most unbelievable travel, fan travel that they had ever seen in the state of Florida. And then, of course, last year we came close to choosing Iowa. They went to Tampa, didn't get enough tickets. So we knew it was 3 years in a row in Florida. That's the only thing that worried us a little bit. But obviously, by the fans lined up behind us, it hasn't been a concern for Iowa fans to get here, and we're thrilled. We're thrilled with the number of people here from Iowa.
Let me give you a quick anecdote. I think the folks in Iowa will enjoy this. Kirk Ferentz joined Hayden Fry's staff in 1981 for 8 years, even as his assistant, before becoming the head coach in 1999. His first bowl trip for the Hawks, early 1980s. He had no idea about the rabid fan following of the Hawkeyes until they went to that bowl game. The head coach at the time, the legendary Hayden Fry, said, "Last one leaving Iowa, turn out the lights. Literally, 2.6 million people in the state. I know there's only about 30 to 40,000 fans down here, but it just seems like no matter where you go, Orlando, Universal, the Capital One Bowl, downtown Orlando, Hawk fans are just taking over. How really important is that for any university that's trying to go to a bowl? Selling tickets, of course, is just one factor, but it seems like Iowa has that in their pocket no matter where they play.
Well, it's hugely important. It's kind of the thing that tips over the balance, you know, the tipping point. Obviously, you want them to win it on the field. You want a great team that deserves to be there and has won a lot of games, particularly in our case. We picked first after the BCS. But when it comes down to, you know, a balance between one team or the other, then fan travel is going to make a big difference as far as the vote. We have a 100-member committee that voted on who came to our game. And, of course, this year is pretty easy because it came down to Wisconsin and Iowa. And, of course, they beat Wisconsin the last game. But that fan travel, no doubt, has a huge impact on selection.
Well, Tom, you prayed for Iowa and LSU, and your prayers have been answered. Thanks so much for taking time from us. We'll see you inside the stadium. That's Tom Mickle, Executive Director of Florida Citrus Sports and Executive Director of the Capital One Bowl. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us. John, let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Zubin and Tom. And up next, we'll hear from some former Hawkeye players who now make their living in the NFL. We'll see what Bob Sanders, Dallas Clark, Nate Kading, and Jared Kloss think of this year's Iowa team next on our Capital One Bowl pregame special.
The Capital One pregame show is brought to you by Farm Bureau, Travis Audio Video, Flooring Gallery, IMG, Carl Chevrolet, Midwest Heritage Bank, and Taco John's.
The Galapagos turtle can live to be 193 years old. Must be nice. Here's to a good life. Farm Bureau for life. Insurance, annuities, mutual funds.
We're Midwesterners with a heritage that's been around for 131 years. We are Midwest Heritage Bank. We provide services for all your banking needs. Midwest Heritage Bank.
Iowa football players are scattered all over the NFL, but even from a distance, they continue to follow the Hawkeyes. Let's go back to Tim and Zubin for more on that story, guys.
Thanks a lot, John. One of the hallmarks of the Iowa football program, or any major college program, is to try to put players at the next level in the NFL. But the one unique thing about the way the Hawks do it, Tim, is they take guys that nobody thought would play college football and turn them into NFL players.
And Coach Ferentz made reference to that this week, saying that Matt Roth was really the only player on this group of seniors that anybody else went after hard. I mean, real hard. And when you talk about that, that makes the impressiveness of this year's team, as well as what some Iowa players have done with their future playing days, even more impressive. You take a look at the last 2 years, Iowa has sent 5 players to the NFL each of the last 2 years, and that was after quite a lull, after 3 or 4 years where maybe a player or two packed his bags for the NFL. And as we caught up with some of the more recent alums that are now collecting a check on Sundays, don't think for a minute that they've forgotten about where they played their college football.
You hear it all the time. Pro football is a business.
Here comes Manning.
That may be true, but a growing group of Hawkeye alums now working 9 to 5 on the field aren't letting their work get in the way of cheering on another New Year's Day Bowl victory.
Oh yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be cheering for them, and you know, go Hawks, and you know, go out and get the win, man. Work hard and pull it in.
Fortunately, we get to watch them pretty, you know, as much as possible. I mean, maybe miss a week here and there, but any chance to a home game, or if they're, you know, playing the night game and we're, you know, away, or, you know, a later game, and I watch them as much as possible.
Sanders, Clark, and the AFC South champion Colts wrap up the NFL regular season tomorrow in Denver. And they are the only Hawkeye alums playing on Sundays, yet keeping an eye on Iowa. Just ask Titans defensive lineman Jared Kloss.
Closer than you'd think. I get updates from various sources, and I'm excited for them.
A 7th-round pick by Tennessee Klaus says Coach Ferentz' formula for success is as good today as it was in last year's Outback Bowl victory.
I'm excited because they develop players very well at Iowa. I mean, myself, they do a good job of really bringing in guys and developing them and getting them to believe in what they're doing. And they're going to do that. And they've got a core group of guys, and it'll be positive. They're going to have people ready to play, and it's going to be entertaining, and they're going to play hard.
A year ago, Iowa used 27 unanswered points to blow out SEC challenger Florida 37-17. An Iowa kicker and Chargers third-round pick, Nate Kading, was responsible for a dozen of those points. Again, an underdog opposite an opponent from the Southeastern Conference. Kading, who's Iowa's all-time scoring leader, says if LSU overlooks the Hawks, it'll be in for similar treatment.
It's kind of similar to last year. We were down there. We played an SEC team in Florida and beat up on them pretty good. So, those guys might underestimate, Iowa, these little farm boys, but they'll be prepared. I know that for sure, and coach will have them ready to go, and hopefully be able to go down and repeat what we did last year. They came out and struggled the first few games, but they've won 7-8 in a row, and now they're in another bowl game down in Florida in January. So I'll be watching them on the first, and I think they're going to pull it off again.
Coach Ferentz and his staff have done a great job, and the kids are responding well. They're believing in the system and doing what they need to do to win, and hopefully LSU overlooks them like Florida did last year at the Outback, and I mean they got to be prepared because it's going to be a great game, and Hawks are going to give their best shot.
They had a tough year ahead of them, and they came out and they did it, and they're sharing the Big Ten title once again this year, and I'm just excited for them, and I hope they continue to go out and win and go in and get a win.
Another New Year's Day victory by the Hawkeyes is sure to produce celebrations here in Orlando and in NFL locker rooms around the country. And I've got a feeling that there'll be a few TVs tuned in around the country with former Iowa Hawkeyes watching today's game. Today's game, by the way, the 40th consecutive game that has been televised for the University of Iowa. That says something about the staying power and the exposure that this team has been able to draw. And in fact, Zubin, today, with a win today, Iowa will pick up its 200th win away from Kinnick Stadium. So there's a few eyes peering in, probably wearing black and gold back in the homes across the country and in the NFL.
And you can hear it in the stadium now at the Citrus Bowl Stadium, the Let's Go Hawks chant. Nice piece on some players that are in the NFL. But, John, coming up after the break, you're going to have a piece on a player that may play in the NFL one day in the future, right?
That is correct, quite possibly. Thank you very much, guys. And he's exactly right, because we'll have the story of Drew Tate. Nobody's played a bigger role in Iowa's success this year than the sophomore quarterback from Texas. That story's next on our Capital One Bowl pregame special.
Start the new year with a new look for your home at Flooring Gallery's New Year's sale. Find the latest styles of carpet, tile, hardwood, and...
He's one of those rare players who seems to thrive on pressure. The bigger the stakes this season, the better the play from Iowa's sophomore quarterback. Josh Howe has more on that story.
Thanks, John. Not since the days of Chuck Long has a sophomore quarterback at Iowa turned in a season like the 2004 campaign of Drew Tate. And considering the countless injuries at running back, the timing could not have been better. In the regular season, as Drew Tate went, so did the Hawkeye offense. The sophomore signal caller accounting for 71% of Iowa's total yards and had a hand in 20 of their 29 touchdowns. His play caught the eye of the rest of the league, earning him first team all Big Ten honors.
I'm pretty surprised. I really hadn't thought about it much. I've just been kind of just doing things on my own, getting schoolwork, stuff like that going, but I haven't really, Phil Hattie just told me about the college football news, and I mean, that's cool. But I don't want all this stuff, all this stuff to blow up and then me have a bad bowl game or anything like that. I'm just worried about playing good in the bowl game and just trying to get victory out of it.
Drew hasn't tasted defeat since September 25th, a 30-17 loss at Michigan. Iowa's second in as many weeks.
I just think after that game, after those games, we just realized as a team, and just like I said, when we just started practicing a lot better, we just got a lot of good of everything.
Tate bounced back, becoming just the third quarterback in school history to pass for more than 300 yards in consecutive games, while leading the Hawkeyes to back-to-back blowouts over Michigan State and Ohio State. That was the spark to a season in which Iowa surprised even themselves, winning a share of the Big Ten title and advancing to a January bowl game for the third time in 3 years. All this is a sophomore. Combine that with the talent returning, and the future is bright for the Hawkeyes.
Obviously, you have to be pretty excited about the future at Iowa. I mean, I only have 1 year left, so obviously next year is going to be a pretty important year for me, and I think that we're going to be, I mean, we have a chance to be ranked really high next year, and really, hopefully, have a chance to play with the big boys at the end of the year next year, and that's obviously the goal every year you go in, but I think, next year is really a feasible goal.
We're going to have some guys coming back. I think, that'll help, as far as I think we'll get some of the running backs back, and I think that that'll help with our running game, and I think it might open up some more things in the passing game.
John, a running game could certainly come in handy against the LSU defense today, but if the Hawkeyes can find a way to get the W, it would no doubt be a major springboard for next season.
All right, thank you very much, Josh. When we come back, we'll take a closer look at the architects behind Iowa's football success. Kirk Ferentz, one of the most respected coaches in college football. That story's next on our Capital One Bowl pregame special.
We're Midwesterners with a heritage that's been around for 131 years. We are Midwest Heritage Bank. We provide services for all your banking needs. Midwest Heritage Bank has 6 locations inside Hy-Vee stores, so we're open 7 days a week with extended hours. Experience true convenience. You can now get that famous helpful smile when you bank. Midwest Heritage Bank, your Hy-Vee bank.
High-definition TV, ask the experts at Travis Audio Video. Travis knows HDTV. They'll give you answers to all of your HDTV questions. Travis will show you all of your options from the industry leaders, Sony, including the Grand Vega. Find out if a Sony LCD big screen or a Sony Plasma HDTV is best for you. The Sony picture is great. You'll have to see it for yourself. No one will sell you your new Sony for less. For over 50 years, the Travis name has been synonymous with trust. Stop by today and ask the experts. Travis Audio Video.
The giant sequoia grows for more than 2,000 years. Unfortunately, we can't say the same. Here's to a good life. Farm Bureau for Life. Insurance, annuities, mutual funds.
¿Por qué tan contento?
Ya regresó el McRib.
Leave the nice shirts at home, because McRib is back at McDonald's. Juicy pork, onions, pickles, sauce, and more sauce.
Taking the field today in Orlando, the state will also be represented during halftime of the Capital One Bowl. Channel 5 Eyewitness News anchor Chris Flanagan has that story.
John, thanks. 9 Centerville area girls will be performing their moves today at midfield during halftime of the Capital One Bowl. They've known for a year they'll be performing in Orlando, and it's really an added bonus for these young ladies that they'll be able to cheer on their favorite team.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3.
These girls are all smiles, and why not? They'll be spending school break in sunny Florida doing what they love to do most, dance.
About the biggest audience I've ever had is just our high school auditorium at a dance recital, so I'm pretty excited about it.
I think it'll be an awesome experience dancing in front of a whole stadium of people.
And all eyes will be on the 9 Centerville dancers who will experience the thrill of a lifetime when they perform with the All-American Dance Team during the halftime show of the Capital One Bowl.
I'm just so proud of the girls. It's a big thing to do, and they're dancing in front of 70,000 people live on TV, let alone the people in the audience. It's a great thing, yes. It's very exciting for me.
Is it ever? And all the hard work is about to finally pay off, literally. The girls have held fundraisers every month since April, with each one raising $1,200 for the trip.
The best part will be out there, all the people, and you dance for all the people, and you cheer on the teams.
Especially the Hawkeyes.
So keep an eye on during the halftime show because you may just be able to catch a glimpse of these talented young Iowa ladies. John, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Chris. Well, you know, despite all of his success, Kirk Ferentz still manages to have his name mispronounced time and time again. Des Moines musician Pat McManus, best known for his work with Rock and Prevention, tries to make it easy with his song, Ferentz Rhymes with Parents. Take a listen.
How come all you sports fans, you cannot say it right? You screw up the coach's name. You do it every night. You do it on the TV. You do it on the radio. The coach's name is Ferentz, so let's all rock and roll. It's Ferentz, you bonehead. It's time to get it right. It's Ferentz, you tone deaf. Now come on, get it right.
Well, that should clear it up once and for all. All right, thanks to Pat McManus. But somehow, I have the feeling we will hear Ferentz again in the future. Zubin and Tim, perhaps you could shed some light on this matter.
John, if Pat McManus has won a Grammy Award, there needs to be a full-blown investigation immediately. But that being said,
relax there, big fella. It'll be okay.
That being said, LSU's Nick Saban and Iowa's Kirk Ferentz, two quality coaches, but one of them seems to be a little better known as the other, as Mr. McManus told us.
Yeah, there's one guy that definitely I think everybody around here knows, but then again, Saban, how can you screw that up?
Do you like the sign this guy made in prison during his 5-year term? Nice job there, pal. Let's get into the Kirk Ferentz package. It's Ferentz. Remember, Ferentz rhymes with parents, right?
At this time, we'd like to welcome the Iowa delegation to the CapOne Bowl, and we would ask for Coach Ferentz to make an opening statement.
Hey, it's Ferentz. Didn't you just hear Pat McManus? Ferentz rhymes with parents.
Apologize for that.
Yeah, Coach, you need an easier name to pronounce, like Zubin Mehenti.
We're thrilled to be here. As I've said before, the hospitality's just been fantastic. Everybody in the Orlando area has been just, outstanding.
He was the 2002 National Coach of the Year.
Coach Ferentz.
I think our players, you can ask them, but I think they're really enjoying everything, all the activities that have been scheduled.
He was the 2004 Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Coach Ferentz.
Our players have done a good job preparing for a very tough opponent. LSU, needless to say, is an outstanding football team. The more we watch the tape, the more we're impressed we are with them, not only in terms of their talent, but the way they're coached. And we know we have a tough challenge on our hands.
Yeah, okay, whatever, Coach Ferentz, or Ferentz, or whatever you want to call yourself. How about Kirk? Can we all agree Kirk? There's only one way to say Kirk, right? Well, maybe the only thing that is going to clear this up is if Kirk Ferentz wins a national championship, and the way things have been going the last few years, that's certainly a possibility.
Well, let me tell you, there's going to be 70,000 in the Citrus Bowl today, and I've got a feeling that about 50,000 of them will have no problem with that last name.
There's no problem. That's the latest on Kirk Ferentz. John Walters, back to you.
Thank you, Zubin Mehenti. And by the way, he was wrong. They can butcher the name Kirk because a lot of people call him Kurt Ferentz. Up next, we'll take you tailgating in Orlando. We'll catch up with the Hawkeye fans doing what they do best. That's up next on our Capital One Bowl pregame special.
The Capital One pregame show is brought to you by Farm Bureau, Travis Audio Video, Flooring Gallery, IMG, Carl Chevrolet, Midwest Heritage Bank, and Taco John's. Winter weather can hit at any time, and the Channel 5 Eyewitness News team is ready. Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards has seen it all before here in Iowa.
Again, more Arctic air, 10, 20, 30 degrees below.
Throughout the show, one of the reasons that Iowa is such an attractive option to Bowl Scouts is the way that Hawkeye fans consistently flock to the games. And we're going to have more on that from Zubin and Tim. And guys, I imagine you didn't have to look very far to find some Hawkeye fans this morning.
It's unbelievable, John. Everywhere you look, there's black and gold. Sure, LSU brings the purple and gold, but we've seen a sea of black and gold. And, of course, watching the game is only half of it. Tailgating is the other half, and Tim, you caught some of the sights and sounds of that earlier this morning.
Anybody that's been to Iowa City on game day knows that Hawkeye fans know how to tailgate. It's like they could send out the how-to video, as a matter of fact. The unfortunate thing, or I guess depending upon how you look at it, good or bad thing, is this tailgate party started yesterday on New Year's Eve. Some of them were still at it bright and early this morning.
Let's go, Hawks!
Iowa 60, LSU 2.
In
Pride is still home of the Hawks. Let's go Hawks!
Sorry, man, you're too late. The girls already shut off. Hawks are gonna win 24-21. Go Hawks!
And needless to say, only the stragglers are still here at the entranceway going into the Citrus Bowl.
Both teams are set to hit the field. Earlier this week, the Hawks hit all the amusement parks and attractions here in Orlando. Let's take a quick look at that.
First segment of this trip, again, we wanted to get some practice in, short meetings, but also have a chance to really get out and enjoy Orlando. The parks here have been fantastic. I think the guys are enjoying the restaurants, the nightlife, all that type of thing, and they ought to. They've earned that right.
Awesome. It's my first time here, so I'm going to enjoy while I'm here. I wanted to go on the terror ride, whatever, the one that falls down, but it's not at this park, so I guess I'm out of luck this time. I'm going to have to go on another ride.
Any particular ride here in the park you can't wait to get on?
Yeah, whatever one my family tells me where I'm excited about. I really don't know much about the parks, but you know, I'm sure it's going to be a great day.
All right, bowl trips are a combination of business and pleasure. Pleasure at the parks earlier this week. Business up next, about 5 minutes away. Capital One Bowl kickoff. John, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, guys. We'll come back and wrap things up right after these messages.
We're Midwesterners with a heritage that's been around for 131 years. We are Midwest Heritage Bank. We provide services for all your banking needs. Midwest Heritage Bank has 6 locations inside Hy-Vee stores, so we're open 7 days a week with extended hours. Experience true convenience. You can now get that famous helpful smile when you bank. Midwest Heritage Bank, your Hy-Vee bank.
This red tag is your key to extraordinary year-end savings. Get into your GMC dealer by January 3rd for special red tag offers on the power, precision, and design of select professional-grade GMC trucks and SUVs. Choose an 05 Yukon XL with available option package discounts and cash back and get a total value of $6,900 with GMAC financing. See some red, save some green at your participating Central Iowa GMC truck dealers.
At Investors Management Group, we believe that identified and controlled risk has the power to create opportunity. And since 1982, we've used our perspective to help institutions and investors achieve their objectives consistently, responsibly, and comfortably.
The Galapagos turtle can live to be 193 years old. Must be nice. Here's to a good life. Farm Bureau for Life. Insurance, annuities, mutual funds.
All right, we are just minutes away from kickoff now between Iowa and LSU, so let's go back out to Citrus Bowl Stadium, and Zubin Mehenti and Tim Seaman standing by. Guys, let's get your take on this game a little bit. It seems like both teams have outstanding defenses, but they rely on different things offensively. Iowa, obviously very pass-oriented. LSU likes to run the football. What are your thoughts heading into this game, fellas?
John, I totally agree with you. I think the media consensus is that this is going to be a defensive struggle, a close game. I like Iowa 16-13. Iowa's won 3 games by a total of 6 points. LSU's won 4 games by a total of 11 points. Is that a useless stat? Yes, it is, but I had it in my notes, so I wanted to get it in. The one edge I would give Iowa, special teams. Blocking punt. Sean Considine has blocked 5 in his career. Kyle Schlicker, pretty accurate, no Nate Kading, but he is pretty good on special teams. Turnovers and special teams decide close games. Hawks are very strong in both areas. I like Iowa, 3-point game. Tim.
Iowa scored 37 points, if I remember right, in their last 2 bowl games. I don't think they're going to score 37 points, but earlier this week, I was along the same lines you were, maybe 19, 16. I'm going to change my mind. Drew Tate has surprised people all year long, and I think he is going to surprise the LSU defense today. It's not going to be 37 points, but I'm saying Iowa will score in the 20s and win the game.
One quick thought from John. We'll get it from you in just 1 second, but from Tim, the Nick Saban factor. LSU coach, last game, going to the Miami Dolphins. Hangover effect for LSU, or is it win one for the Gipper?
I think it's no factor. It doesn't matter. There's seniors on this team that want to win a bowl game and then go out on a good note.
All right, that'll do it from Florida Citrus Stadium here at the Capital One Bowl. You heard our predictions. John, let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much for all your hard work, guys. And I agree with you. I don't think that the Nick Saban thing, Tim, is going to be a big deal because these players have been preparing themselves for several years now for Nick Saban to take an NFL job. Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Great job. And I agree with Zubin on the prediction for the game. I think the Hawkeyes will win it because of their outstanding special teams and the fact that they're so great in the turnover margin area. I'll take Iowa 21-17. We sure hope you enjoyed the game. Thanks for joining us on our special pregame special.
A little bit of red saves you a lot of green at Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet. Look for the red tags. Every vehicle tagged with rock bottom prices. 2005 Cavaliers as low as $89.95 with 27 in stock. Choose from 45 2005 Impalas starting as low as $17,599. 2005 Tahoes and Trailblazers also at rock bottom prices. Look for the red tag and save some green at Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet, 17th and Ingersoll.
Well, there's a lot of fast food restaurants out there, and Taco John's gets our business every week.
They're the best tacos in town.
They've got it figured out.
We like
Quality
the flavor.
ingredients is good.
I like everything about them.
Salsa's good.
I usually get the soft shell because I got these store-bought cheese.
It tastes more like real food.
Yeah, the prices are great. There's a whole lot of Mexican going on at Taco John's.
Going on at Taco John's.
It's plain good.
Start the new year with a new look for your home at Flooring Gallery's New Year sale. Find the latest styles of carpet, tile, hardwood, and laminates all at terrific sale prices. Flooring Gallery's team of flooring and design experts will help you find the perfect flooring to fit any lifestyle and any budget. And for limited time, enjoy no interest, no payments until June 2006. Call or stop in for a free measurement and discover why it's worth talking to the experts at Flooring Gallery. Bring your designs to life at Flooring Gallery today.
¿Por qué tan contento?
Ya regresó el McRib.
Leave the nice shirts at home, because McRib is back at McDonald's. Juicy pork, onions, pickles, sauce, and more sauce.
Eso.
At Carl Chevrolet, our prices have always been competitive. And now to help our customers save even more, we're introducing Tires for Life. Buy a new or used vehicle at Carl Chevrolet, and when the tires wear out, we'll replace them at no charge as long as you own the car. Get new tires, tire installation, valve stem, mounting, balancing. Buy a new or used vehicle and get brand name Tires for Life. At Carl Chevrolet, where we're doing things differently.
It's every corn grower's biggest decision. What's the right seed corn for this season? You want the latest technology, proven performance, superior profitability. So what do? Well, it really comes down to one simple choice. In a win-or-lose business like farming, pick Win. FS Seed Corn, the start of a winning season. Talk to your FS crop specialist today.
Lisa Carpinelli, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
ABC Sports, Championship Television.
We ring in the new year with a Cinderella story. A Longhorn stampede out west and the defending champs against the best of the Big Ten. In a Time Fiesta. The undefeated Utah Utes, the first mid-major to crash the BCS, look to celebrate their dream season with a win over the Pittsburgh Panthers, champions of the Big East. Later today in the Rose Bowl game, the Longhorns of Texas, led by hard-charging senior Cedric Benson, make their BCS debut in the granddaddy of them all. Their opponent, the co-Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines, led by a pair of party-crashing freshmen. But up next on the dance card is the Capital One Bowl, where the Nick Saban-built defending national champion LSU Tigers battle the other co-Big Ten champions, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and their hard-hitting defense led by senior Matt Roth. Get ready to pop the champagne, because the greatest New Year's Day tradition of them all, a triple header of college football on ABC Sports, is about to begin. Happy New Year to each and every one of you, and what a way to start off 2005. We're here in sunny Southern California. The Michigan fans are ready to take on Texas. Hard to believe those teams have never met. Texas has never played in the Rose Bowl. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. That one is coming up, but we start things off with a Capital One Bowl. LSU, Nick Saban, his final game as head coach at LSU as he takes on Iowa.
You know what? Drew Tate, they ought to give this guy an extra trophy just for getting his football team there. This was an offense that could not run the football. 75 yards a game on the ground, which is terrible, the worst in school history. But Tate put him on his shoulders. He carried them to the Capital One Bowl, so congratulations to Tate.
Yeah, and both of these teams, guys, I like a good backstory, and both of these teams had to come from nowhere. LSU had to come over early season quarterback problems, and Iowa having to overcome the running back problems. Both of these teams, there is no quit in these teams. They never say die, and lo and behold, here they are in the Capital One Bowl game, two very good defensive teams, and I think that is definitely a distinction and reflection on Nick Saban and Kurt Ferentz.
Co-Big Ten champs in back-to-back games. Iowa first, followed by Michigan as well. Let's check some other scores. Games underway already. Georgia with a lead over Wisconsin, 10-6. David Green has a touchdown pass in that game. Tennessee is blowing out Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. Rick Clausen has 3 touchdown passes. Florida State scored early on West Virginia. The Mountaineers have come back. It is now 10-6. Leon Washington has the touchdown run for Florida State. We, of course, will see you again at halftime. Right now, let's go to Orlando and Gary Thorne. And Gary, Happy New Year.
John, thanks very much, and a Happy New Year to you, and welcome to the Capital One Bowl. We are in Orlando, Florida. LSU, for the last time, plays as the defending national champion. Iowa, the co-Big Ten champ, goes at it here. We're delighted to have you with us. Happy New Year, everybody. Along with Ed Cunningham, I'm Gary Thorne. A delight for you to join us. 78-degree weather, just beautiful here in Orlando. 2005, we begin where it always begins. Nothing changes. Quarterbacks.
Why would you change anything now? And the two quarterbacks we're going to see today, both very athletic guys. For LSU, it's the senior Marcus Randall. Earlier in the year, they rotated the freshman Jamarcus Russell in, but Randall, in the words of his head coach Nick Saban, now carries himself as a starting quarterback, and he looked fantastic in the last regular season game against Arkansas. Was very accurate, and he is a very physical runner. Now let's go back a little ways for Iowa in a loss to Michigan. Sophomore Drew Tate on this play, it meant nothing. It was an incomplete pass. But that is what this Iowa team needed with its lack of running game. They needed a leader, and they found it in Drew Tate.
And those two quarterbacks are ready to go, and so are we. A big bowl day, obviously. We will have the story of a coach who's not coming back at LSU. And for Iowa, the chance to beat that coach here today. Coin toss coming up.
$120.90.
I'll just put it on the credit card.
But those rates.
Don't worry. I'll just put it on our Capital One Prime Lock card.
Introducing the new Capital One Prime Lock card. It's set at prime, so you never have to worry about your interest rate again.
What's in your wallet?
Silverado Heavy Duty, with the available Duramax diesel and Allison transmission, has more torque than Ford Super Duty. That's why Silverado's the right truck, the official truck of an American revolution.
Welcome back, everybody, and participating in today's coin toss, William McDonald, Executive Vice President, Brand Management for Capital One, sponsors of our Capital One Bowl here in Orlando. And Iowa has won the toss, and they have decided to receive. Some things change in the new year, but not our on-field man. Dr. Jerry Punch, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Gary, and Happy New Year, everyone. You know, as if preparing for a New Year's Day bowl game against the Big Ten co-champion weren't difficult enough, imagine the distraction of having your head coach courted by a major NFL franchise. But through it all, Nick Saban's very, very open and honest with his players. In fact, after he told the team of his decision on Christmas night, several seniors stood up in a players-only meeting and guys said it's just this simple. He's still our coach. We still have one game left to play, and if we maintain our focus, we can all go out a winner. Now, as for who will be the next LSU head coach, in just a few moments, we're going to tell you what we know and what we think is going to happen. Gary?
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Obviously, that has been a story that Saban has tried to keep under the line. He wants this game to be about his players, named the Miami Dolphins head coach on Christmas Day, and then told his players first. We'll talk about that and who may succeed.
And he was the guy that right up front, of course, he knows Kirk Ferentz. They coached together in the NFL under Bill Belichick, but was right up front with his players, and that's the only way you could handle that.
Kirk Ferentz, we'll talk about his relationship with Saban over the years. He has had a tremendous career already at Iowa.
Already the Big Ten Coach of the Year, the last 3 years. He was named again this year. In my opinion, the Coach of the Year across the country. We'll get into what him and his staff had to go through with injuries and problems off of the field. It's absolutely amazing that they are playing on January 1st.
We will have Walter Bellis and Damian Sims deep for Iowa. Chris Jackson will do the kicking for LSU. Iowa in the dark jerseys with the gold pants. They're receiving up to the 15-20. Big break up near the 30-yard line. Walter Bellis, who has not been a return kickoff man for parts of the season, earned the job at the end of it, and a good return to start this game out. Let's take a look at the starting quarterback. We're going to see, and what a story he has been. Drew Tate, first year as a starter out of Texas, has been magnificent.
And he was a guy that last year they played a little bit as a true freshman. He's not that tall. He is very active, and the key for him is when he scrambles, he's not scrambling to run. He's scrambling to throw. LSU's going to have to stay home.
He will pass a lot. That is their primary first down play. That's going to go incomplete right there to Ed Hinkle. Their first down running game has put the ball in the air. Our Capital One starting lineups. Take a look at the backs and receivers. Brownlee, if they run, will probably be the one.
And let's see if Ed Hinkle picks up where he left off in 04 with a couple of one-handed catches in this ballgame.
And for the offensive line, their test is going to be to provide passing protection.
And Brian Ferentz, a guy who almost lost his right leg to a staph infection back in, he adds a lot of toughness to this front.
That is Brownlee, who will carry it up to about the 34-yard line. Now, this team will not run the football very much at all. It'll be 60, 70 or more % of the time putting the ball in the air. So that is not going to be a secret to the LSU Tigers. They know that's what they can look at. Brownlee coming out. It'll be another passing situation here as we get our first third down play for Tate. And Tate will have Aaron Mickens in the backfield. He and Tom Bush will be rotating in and out of that backfield today. Two receivers set to the left side. Slot man will move back into the backfield in motion. They work out of the shotgun. Tate very deep looking. Big rush. Drops it off to the 40. First down marker is right there. Hinkle, the receiver. The wide receiver out of Erie, Pennsylvania, who led this team with 7 TD receptions.
I don't think he got it. The official, as he came in to mark the spot, was bumped by an LSU player, and it actually altered his spot just a little bit, but I still don't think it was enough. A really good job coming up from the safety spot. Jesse Daniels, and that was a bit of a zone blitz. That was, you don't get to see Kyle Williams, the defensive tackle, out covering a wide receiver very often.
They are going to bring the chains in from the short side to see whether or not they got that third down, first down, a gain of 9 or 10.
Oh,
boy, that was close.
And
it is.
You know, the official came in from the side, Gary, and as he was walking, a couple of LSU players, he had to walk around them. He went further down the field, and I don't think he realized he missed where his foot was originally, because his original foot was about 2 or 3 feet short of that first down.
Coach Ferentz doesn't mind that
no,
at all.
not at all.
No, he'll take that. So Iowa gets the first down, a first down and 10. Ball at the 41-yard line. Tate, who started all of the games for Iowa at quarterback, has Brownlee again working in the backfield. They'll send that man in motion. Tate loves to scramble. Looks like he's changing it up here. Marcus Simmons in the backfield. Simmons on the carry to the 40, and Simmons will go out of bounds at about the 45. And anytime Iowa can go 3 or better in yardage rushing, they will take it. Defensively, knowing they've got to get to the quarterback, that's the job of the line.
And Marcus Spears coming to an NFL city near you very soon. He'll be a first-round pick.
Take a look at their linebackers. Hodge and Green are going to be back next year.
And Turner, the guy who everyone will remember, has made the sack to end the game in the Sugar Bowl last year.
And there you see the secondary that will be tested with a lot of passes.
And Corey Webster, like a lot of guys we'll see today and talk about, changed positions early in his career, was a wide receiver, now a 2-time All-American at cornerback.
Mickens is back there. It's going to be a 2nd down and a 7. Again, you see Tate hollering out instructions. Tate on the handoff, and that's not going to go very far. And that is a big line that's tough to run against. Kyle Williams moved in and put the hit on a junior, 6'2", 295.
Well, and there's just a little bit of miscommunication between the right guard and the center. Williams very active. He's lined up right here. He's just going to slip on the backside. Watching tape of this guy, he's not the biggest guy, 6'1", about 290. He is so active in the middle. He just never stops. One of those short arm guys. He's not going to be great, but 6 sacks on the year, very active.
This Iowa team comes in with a 7-game win streak. They lost a yard on that one. It'll be a 3rd down and 8. 3 receivers come to the near side with a slot set. Quick release over the middle of midfield, complete 40. This is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Clinton Solomon. $57 yards.
Inside against Corey Webster. Webster does not have safety help. That is a tactical error by Webster. There was a safety came down to get a blitz look. Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, said, we can't blitz a lot because they'll make us pay. That time, Corey Webster, he's got to know where his help is or is not.
Flecker up, puts the extra point up, and how about this? Iowa, who is worried about their offense. Solomon, their leading receiver in yards per game, gets his 6th touchdown of the season on their first drive. 6 plays, 69 yards, and Iowa is on the board. When we come back, we'll take a look at the offense of the Tigers of LSU, who find themselves down early, 7-0.
Silverado half-ton crew comes standard with more muscle than Ford, Dodge, or Toyota. That's why it's the right truck. The official truck of an American revolution.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough.
I'm full!
Fullness from a value menu.
This is my dad. He's full.
The Big Bell Value Menu from Taco Bell, with filling items like half-pound burritos and big double tacos, designed to keep your stomach and your wallet full.
What are you supposed to be?
I'm full. All right. Yeah, I'm a pirate. Get full on value. Think outside the bun.
Now available.
1002. Oh, I could barely lift my right arm because I did so many.
By Anchorman on DVD.
Burgundy did it. Hi-ho.
Will Ferrell.
Hey, everyone. Come and see how good I look.
Buy the DVD for the new year today.
Some material may be suitable, blah, 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 blah.
Adidas GDL at Champ Sports, where sport lives.
Sorry.
Touchdown pass 19 for Drew Tate, our Chevrolet drive summary. How about that to start a football game? The Capital One Bowl, no less. 69 on 6, and it only took 218.
And Clinton Solomon, 4 100-yard games. You know, every year Iowa has a guy like that you don't expect to have big games. Solomon has been their most consistent big play receiver all season.
Skylar Green is back for the Tigers of LSU. And a dive back there with him. That'll be taken in the end zone to the 5-10. Got some room. 20. Tripped up with, just got him on the shoelaces. And that is McQuan Dawkins, who was able to put that hit on the dive with a good run back.
As LaRon Landry, the safety, comes down, Corey Webster, who's a senior, he just has to know that he has to have inside technique on Solomon. This is a great throw. That's the one thing Drew Tate does very well. When he sees it, the ball is gone. Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator, said we actually have to slow him down sometimes on his read. That time, get it out as quickly as possible when you see the cornerback set outside.
Marcus Randall, the quarterback, 2 setbacks. Broussard about the 23-yard line on the carry out of the backfield with Matt Roth. And if he has a day, you're going to hear a lot about number 31. That is an all Big Ten. There's Marcus Randall. They've rotated quarterbacks. He right now playing his best of the year.
And it was the confidence growth of Randall midway through the season as this team was finding some identity. He had 2 games in a row that he threw touchdown passes on nearly the last play of the game to win it in the 4th quarter against Troy and Florida, and that started the 6-game winning streak.
Loss of 1 on that last play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 11, and they want a timeout, so LSU not happy with a offensive set they had with what they were looking at, and they'll use a timeout here before they run their 2nd play of the football game, and Randall over to the sidelines. Great to have you with us here in Orlando, and a very big crowd on hand on a beautiful 78-degree winter day in Orlando.
Love this spot. Pop? Yeah, son? Something I gotta tell you. What?
I've got unbeerman-like conduct on Timmy. Giving Dad a beer with less taste, that's a loss of respect. Inheritance, decline. Replacing with great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. Half the carbs is Bud Light. We've also got unoriginal tattoo on Timmy, tribal armband design, attempting to fit in. Play beer.
Miller. Good call.
Honey, great anniversary surprise.
Yeah. I put it on the credit card.
Those rates are brutal.
No worries. I switched to the new Capital One Prime Lock card.
Introducing the new Capital One Prime Lock card. It's set at prime so you never have to worry about your interest rate again.
What's in your wallet?
Introducing the new commotion in the Chevy family. The Cobalt Coupe, Sedan, and SS Supercharged. Chevy Cobalt, an American revolution.
The Capital One Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive presentation brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Cooper Tires. Confidence, performance, mileage. Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing. Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Chevy, an American revolution. Supercharged for 2005.
Today's aerial camera facilities provided by Capital One. Full house on hand here in our Capital One Bowl. In fact, they added seats in one of the end zones that were not here. There's Nick Saban, future head coach of the Miami Dolphins, starting tomorrow. His last game obviously here. His national champions of last year. Final chance, almost high. Randall hauls it down, carries himself, and he'll take it up to about the 29-yard line. Marcus Randall, the senior, on a high snap. Let's take a look at our offense. Offensively, it's brought to you by Capital One. We will hear a lot from a lot of runners today.
And the big one is Ali Broussard, 233 pounds. He said, I don't have time to juke people. I like to run them over.
Take a look at the offensive line. They are good.
A lot of guys moving around. They finally settled in. Whitworth was the only guy who started every game at the same position. First team All-SEC.
3rd down and 5. First third down play. 43% regular season conversion rate over the middle, complete at the 35-yard line, then backwards a step. And the question is how far backwards he went. Skylar Green caught the ball and had a first down, but he tried to turn it upfield going back a step and may have taken himself out of the first down.
Well, and Norm Parker got caught in his base defense there. Chad Greenway, the outside linebacker, a great player, first team All-Big Ten. You don't want him trying to cover a 150-pound guy who runs with world-class speed, and there's just no way that he's going to keep up with Green.
They got it for the first down and 10, and they'll work out of that two-man backfield. Randall on the fake, comes near side, wide open near midfield. Tackle made without any gain after the catch, but boy, was Dwayne Bowe wide open. He had 5 touchdown receptions during the season. Pascal put the hit on, 13-yard gain.
There's been no receiver. Skylar Green got hurt in camp, but there's been no receiver who's been a really consistent go-to guy. Although Bowe's had some big games, he's a big body, but this group of receivers and running backs are so young. Sophomores, freshmen, juniors sprinkled in there, but they have grown and grown in Jimbo Fisher's offense.
Marcus Randall, 62% effective, pass completions, trying to run it this time, gets by 1 tackle over midfield, takes that down to the 48. Chad Greenway, the linebacker, able to get to it. So Iowa today knows they're going to see some runs. That means these guys have got to put some tackles on. There's a look brought to you by Capital One.
And Matt Roth, another defensive end in this game, coming to an NFL city near you after this year.
Linebackers, couple who are going to be returning in Hodge and Lewis.
And both of those guys first team All Big Ten. Greenway, very good blitzer.
This is going to be a 2nd down and 7 as they move it into Iowa territory. Randall on the pitch, and he's brought down for a loss. Chad Green, 18th in the nation. Greenway in solo tackles gets another one. And that's where the linebackers can really make a difference in a game.
When you have guys like Greenway that can run this well, you give them a choice. Usually you want them running the hump, but if they can get through and make a play, you allow them to do that. You don't want to make your living doing this. Read the guard pull. That guard's coming around to block him. He reads that, comes through. That's great recognition by Greenway.
Outstanding play right there. So we get our first big 3rd down here. 3rd down and 11. They will work out of the shotgun. Randall standing back at his own 40 and deeper, looking deep, wants to go near side, gets chased, gets away from 1 tackler, 40 gets away from 2, and he's brought down for a big loss. And Abdul Hodge, who had the first chance to make the tackle and missed, got back up and made the play.
And this was a rare blitz by Norm Parker. 3rd and long, you expect Iowa to be dropping back. This is almost a 100% zone team, but this time Marcus Pascal, the strong safety. Excuse me, that's Javon Johnson, the cornerback that came on the blitz. But the good thing that Iowa did, even though they were playing man, they were able to cover. Norm Parker said he didn't know how much one-on-one they'd play. Took a risk there, and it paid off.
Good recovery right there. Chris Jackson will be doing the kicking for LSU, standing back at his 30. Ed Hinkle will be back for Iowa near his 15 on this punt. Plenty of time to get it off, no rush. Hinkle wants to let that one go, and he'll have to play it on the hop, and is able to make something out of it as he gets it up to the 22. Dangerous play. Craig Davis came on. Hinkle able to hang on to the bouncing ball, a 40-yard punt.
Introducing the new Chevy Uplander. With standard MP3 player, available XM radio, standard 1-year OnStar, and standard rear DVD. Uplander. Technology meets the sport van. Chevy, an American revolution.
Hey, Chubbs, first day? Yeah. No. The answer's always no. You got that Quasimodo? Now, I'm a caller. Hi, can I redeem my credit card miles? No? That's right. Mix it up. Tic-tac, no. E-I-E-I, no. Marco!
Paul, no.
All right. Are we clear?
Yeah. No. Hey, shouldn't they just call Capital One?
Hey.
Yeah.
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One no hassle rewards. There's no blackout dates on any airline anytime.
What's in your wallet?
I got a couple bucks, bus pass.
Not you.
I don't know what I was thinking. I tried to tell you, genius. I can't believe I'm in this situation. We're not having fun anymore. I'm feeling your pain. I don't know what to do. Hey, look at me. We all make mistakes.
Told you about the tires, huh?
Yeah. You should have gotten Cooper.
Buying tires is a big decision. Next time, get everything you want. Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing.
You're watching the Capital One Bowl on ABC Sports.
All right, let's see what Iowa can do on their first series. Tate started a 3-for-3 in the air. If he can have that kind of a game, Iowa's offense will be effective because that's how they get it done. Simmons is the lone setback. Tate hands off to him, 20, and gets it up to about the 23-yard line. Big question, LSU. Your coach is leaving after this game from Miami. Marcus Spears, All-American. Does it affect your play in this game?
Recruit mature men, mature young men. And I think they all understand that, success takes you a lot of different ways, and coach he had a great opportunity, go to a great franchise in the NFL. And I mean, you can't ask a man that's as competitive as he is and loves challenges not to take something like that.
Saban did. Saban's here. That will be carried for not much of a gain. Aaron Mickens, their senior fullback, brought down by Lionel Turner. So Dr. Jerry Punch, he's gone after today from LSU.
He will be gone, and the big question is who's going to come in afterward. And they've had a very, very busy search committee led by Stanley Skip Burtman, the athletic director. And we all know the names that coaches they've contacted and are interviewed. They include Bobby Petrino at Louisville, Houston Nutt at Arkansas, Les Miles at Oklahoma State, Bobby Williams, an assistant, and former A&M head coach R.C. Slocum. I'll tell you in a moment what they think might happen.
3rd down and 6 from the 25-yard line. Tate out of the shotgun, gets the rush, dumps it over the middle. And the tackle immediately made at about the 27-yard line by Ronnie Prude. Jerry.
Well, Houston Nutt has bowed out. He will stay at Arkansas. We are told the same thing may be happening with Bobby Petrino at Louisville, bowing out of the competition. Right now, the bets, from what you hear on the sidelines, and our bets are that probably Les Miles, the head coach at Oklahoma State, who did a phenomenal job with the Cowboys, has to be the #1 choice. And they want to make a coaching selection, an announcement ASAP to hang on to those recruits. Look for Les Miles to be at the top of the list over the next 48 hours.
All right, David Bradley will be doing the punting on the 3rd down. That'll take it all the way back to a fair catch called very late at the 24-yard line. A 49-yard kick. Skylar Green wanted to run that thing back, but all of a sudden there were a lot of jerseys in front of him that were the wrong color.
To go the distance in life, it takes persistence, performance, and strength. The same qualities that have made Pacific Life one of the largest life insurance companies in the nation. With Pacific Life by your side, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. Proud sponsor of the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl.
Someday, you'll remember where you were when you first heard that there are no more late fees at Blockbuster. If you need an extra day or two with your movies or games, you go right ahead. Take them, relax, enjoy more time and less stress.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. The end of late fees. The start of more. The new Blockbuster.
Action! Everyone remembers Dynasty, the soap opera even a guy could love.
Yeah.
This is the behind-the-scenes story. Dynasty, the making of a guilty pleasure.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sunday at 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Welcome back, everybody, to Orlando. Great to have you with us for our Capital One Bowl. A sellout crowd on hand here today for this one, as LSU, the defending national champion, coming in with their 9-2 mark, 6-2 in the SEC. Iowa, the Big Ten co-champ, they ended up 9-2 as well. They were 7-1 in the Big Ten. Both teams with big streaks going. Iowa's won 7 in a row. LSU has won their last 6. LSU will get the football. 1st and 10, and for the second straight time, the Tigers start on their own 24-yard line. They have lost Will Arnold, the offensive left guard. During that commercial break, he headed into the dressing room and had to be aided and had crutches in order to get there. Broussard is in the backfield. Randall looks to him up to the 25-yard line, tries to go the other way and can't. Broussard, the running back, the sophomore, taken down. Final look at those we have left. The Iowa secondary, how much they'll be tested today is an issue because they've got speed against them.
And because of all of the zone that they play, Considine, the senior free safety who's had a wonderful career, will be moving all along. That time you see him, they come down so late to support the run. That Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, when we met with him, said these safeties do such a great job. They come down to support the run, but they come so late, you're not sure if you're getting an extra man in the box until it's too late to get out of the play.
It'll be a 2nd down and 9. Davis on the near side. 3 receivers. Green set wide side. Look for the quick in route. Nobody to go to. Good coverage, and he's taken down. 22-yard line. Jonathan Babineau. Babineau, a senior who led this team in sacks with 8. During the year, got in there.
And Babineau, one of the many guys at Iowa. You see this a lot in college football, but probably at Iowa more than anywhere where they don't make them. They ask guys if they want to change positions. Babineau came in as a fullback. They said, you're going to be a lot better on the defensive line for us. Believe it or not, going from fullback to defensive line was a good move, and he is now a legitimate prospect, and he was actually voted this team's defensive MVP at their banquet.
It is a 3rd down and 12. 3rd down and 12, LSU out of the shotgun from the 15. Randall looking downfield, completes it, but an immediate hit and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Wow. Davis got hit by George Lewis, the outside linebacker, and after the reception, no further gain.
Well, Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, who actually spent the night in the hospital last night, he suffers from diabetes and felt weak and had to go to the hospital for a little while, said, we're going to be in position. The question is, will we make the tackles? Because the LSU offense has so many guys that break tackles. Norm was not concerned about his guys not being there. He was worried about them tackling. He's got to like what he's seen so far.
And we wish him well, and great to see that despite that last night, he's here. Chris Jackson will be doing the kicking, and it's blocked at the 30-yard line. Rolling around, Iowa's going to have great field position. They put the big charge on and got to it. Javon Johnson is the man who got in there and got his hands up. And right now, Iowa's getting it done on both sides of the ball.
Well, both Majerus, a tight end, and Johnson get in at the same time. Let's see who's going to actually get credit for this. We got to get this right. This is a January 1 ball. I think that was Majerus. I mean, yep. If he didn't get it, Johnson definitely would have gotten it. The whole right side completely collapsed, and this is what Iowa does. You watch them on film. They don't look that impressive, that physical, but they just make plays when they have to.
Screen pass intercepted, and the only man to make a tackle, the quarterback held him up. It'll be brought back to midfield. Melvin Oliver in the interception, and the tank was rumbling. So as soon as Iowa got great field position on the block punt, LSU comes back. Melvin Oliver, the junior, with a 26-yard interception return.
What an excellent job by Oliver. Gets inside and stops. He does not allow himself to get cut. Stays on his feet. He red screened the whole way, but the most impressive thing, this guy makes a one-handed catch. Now, we all know that Marcus Spears is a converted tight end. Oliver is not. This is not something that he's going to be practicing every day, trying to do his best Ed Hinkle, I guess. It's an amazing play, Gary.
Tate threw for 13 interceptions. Oliver did not have one during the regular season. He's got one here in the Capital One Bowl.
It all started really with the way that he read the play, and as the offensive tackle went to cut him, he stopped. Because whenever an offensive tackle is screened to his side, he's going to try to cut block. You get your hands down and get you out of the play. So it all started. It was great athleticism to stay up, make the catch, return. It was just beautiful.
LSU starts now in Iowa territory, 1st and 10. The comeback and another fumble. And it will be recovered by LSU, but it's back at the 45-yard line. Jonathan Babineau again was able to get through and create havoc in that backfield. Whitworth came up with a football.
Well, we already mentioned that Babineau is a former running back. Watch the speed of the 280-pounder. I guess he figures he can help his draft stock as a senior in this ball game. You might want to try to block him. I mean, the center didn't do a very good job, but Babineau so explosive, and the combination of him and Roth, they are constantly in the offense's backfield.
So a big loss on that one, a loss of 11 on the sack. 2nd down, 21 from his own 40. That's going to be incomplete and almost intercepted by Considine, who had it in his arms with Davis, the intended receiver. Coming up next, the BCS kicks off with the Rose Bowl game. 2 of the most storied programs in college football meet for the first time. Texas takes on Michigan, 4:30 Eastern. Tonight, 8:30, Utah battles Pittsburgh, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Kind of amazing, as is true in this game in the Rose Bowl, how many teams who've had football programs forever are meeting for the first time.
And the amazing part, too, you have a lot of coaches on those great programs that are going other places. But, yeah, it's kind of unusual that Texas and Michigan had never met before today.
3rd down and 21. Marcus Randall back at his own 40-yard line. Boy, the coverage has been tremendous. He's going to run this and is not going to get to midfield. Iowa's on fire here as far as ratcheting their play up. Randall just has not been able to find anybody open.
Well, when we talked to Matt Roth the other day about this defense, he said the reason we respect each other is because we are all so physical. And right now, I believe Marcus Randall and LSU are figuring out that, you know, the SEC, a lot of people say the best conference. Well, nobody plays more physical than the Big Ten. And I think right now LSU's a little shell-shocked at how much they're getting hit right in the mouth.
Jackson, who averages about 39 yards a punt, puts this one all the way back to the 10. They're going to let it go. Hits at the 5 and just makes it into the end zone. So a 52-yard kick that time by Chris Jackson. And Iowa will take over. She can be anyone. Now she gets to be herself. Golden Globe nominee Jennifer Garner stars in a new season of Alias. The 2-hour premiere event begins Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, only on ABC. Led Cunningham, Dr. Jerry Punch, I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you with us. This is kind of a surprise start for these 2 teams. Remember, both of these teams have had more than a month off, and both coaching staffs were concerned about mistakes like that. Bounced up in the air at the 20-yard line. Trying to get back into the game rhythms is not easy.
Well, take the one big play out, take to Solomon for the touchdown. Neither offense is really, and that's kind of what you expect. It's like when you start training camp or when you start spring ball. The offenses are the ones, because you don't do everything full speed, you don't do everything game speed, and the defenses, because they just have to line up and get after you, are always going to be a little better. And both of these offenses have struggled at certain parts of this year, but neither defense struggled. Iowa on the road at Arizona State, but other than that, they had a very solid year.
Greg Ferentz in his 6th season, looking on. Iowa head coach. 2nd down. Whistle.
Yeah.
That's going to be a delay, I think, or movement by Lee Gray.
Yeah.
We have had one injury in this game. Let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch. Doc.
And that would have been Will Arnold, the redshirt freshman left guard. Arnold took a helmet on the outside of the right ankle, has been taken in. X-rays, we are told, are negative. He's not going to play in the first half. They'll reevaluate him at halftime, but he is done for the first half there as the starting left guard.
And for LSU, not good news. Nick Saban, they struggled. The weakness of this team at the beginning of the year was the offensive line. Everyone asked, what's wrong with the offense? Why are the quarterbacks bad? Well, it all started up front. That does not help them.
Take back. Looking near side at the 15, and he will run it out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Driven out of there by LaRon Landry. Tate much prefers to throw the football. He can run it, but given an option, he'll throw it, including when he's running.
But this is not exactly what Kirk Ferentz wants to be doing with his offense. We asked him about this new offense the other day.
You know, our running game has been pretty much decimated this year, and it's amazing that we've had the kind of success we've had without a running game. It's not how we prefer to play. We'd rather be balanced, but you know, we're going to have to try to spread the ball around, get all of our receivers involved, our tight end hopefully, and you know, our running game hasn't been strong, but we have to try to, I think, make an attempt at least to try to keep LSU a little bit honest with their defensive approach.
Bad pass by Tate. It is intercepted. He got caught. And while he was going down, LaRon Landry was wide open, only it was the wrong color jersey. It was a 3rd and 12 from the 18-yard line, and Tate forced that ball.
Well, as they work on their scramble drill, all the receivers, when the pocket breaks down, have a place to go. And Clinton Solomon, as he made his break to come back towards the quarterback, slipped and fell. And Drew Tate, assuming he was going to be there, let that ball go, could not see him because he was going down, and the safety is standing right there.
Tate intercepted 12 times in the course of the regular season. You see, boy, he had no balance, was up in the air. And just...
that's not that great of a move, but he expected Solomon, didn't expect him to slip and fall. Still a dangerous throw.
Great field position, LSU on the near side, wide open at the 25 and down to about the 22-yard line. Marcus Randall to David Jones. It'll be a 9-yard gain. Jones out of the Y position, both a tight end and a halfback, that time working as a receiver.
And LSU needs to take advantage of this turnover. Not 3, they need 7. As we mentioned in the drive before, it looked like this LSU offense was not ready for how physical Iowa was, and on a 2nd and short, would not be surprised if Jimbo Fisher takes a chance with a couple of these receivers up top.
There you see the total yards so far in this game. It's been a defensive game. 2 setbacks, a die in that backfield, 2nd man through at the 20. There's some big-time banging going on inside. A die, a junior, 210, taken down after he got to the line of scrimmage and got enough for the first down.
Well, whomever is the next coach at LSU is going to find the cupboard awfully full. I mean, you know, Marcus Spears, obviously, Corey Webster on defense, but offensively, this team is so young. 2 quarterbacks coming back. You have Jamarcus Russell, who's the fine freshman, but also Matt Flynn, who's been playing very well in bowl preparation. They've got a lot of talent left.
Broussard comes into the lineup. They carry 2-man through up to the 10-yard line and down to the 9. So Ali Broussard, their leading rusher, with 9 TDs rushing, carries that one for a big gain, and now LSU threatening after a 7-yard pickup.
And Broussard, one of those guys that is just a bear to tackle. Under 6 feet tall, over 230 pounds. Does a wonderful job of getting his shoulder pads down. He's not an upright runner like Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma.
Pascal is down. Marcus Pascal for Iowa, the strong safety. One of the things we'll look for today, because in some of the other bowl games that have been played in the warmer climates, there has been a problem with cramping. Yeah. And whether or not we'll have that today, it's a beautiful day. It's not very humid, but it is going to be in the upper 70s. Take a look here.
Ooh. It's almost hard to explain how much force a 235-pound man has. And it's his left leg just buckles. Pascal's left leg buckled. As he went in, he was planning on his left leg right as he took on Broussard, and you could see that left leg crumple. That's not good. This is a guy who's very good in coverage and around the line of scrimmage.
Pascal is coming out of there, so Iowa will lose their starting strong safety, Miguel Merrick, number 15, generally the backup. We've got a 2nd down and 3. Ball is at the Iowa 10. LSU trailing 7-0, but a shot at it right here. 2nd man in the ice slips and falls at about the 10-yard line. Broussard again on the carry. Broussard could not cut back.
Well, I think you got to get a little more aggressive down in this area. Jimbo Fisher going on 2nd and short, two 2nd and shorts in a row. He's tossed the ball, and I think you could probably take a couple of shots in the end zone. Why not? It's a throwaway down.
We'll see what they do on the next one as the first quarter of our Capital One Bowl is complete. ABC Sports presentation of the Capital One Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television from Orlando, where Iowa has a 7-0 lead over LSU.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will know my children
are safe.
I will finally be able to relax!
A single ADT system can help protect your home and family from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide. Call now and save over $100 off the regular price when you buy ADT's family package. Plus save up to 20% on your homeowner's insurance. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. ADT, always there.
There you are.
Anderson. Treat her as you would any other student. Spade.
So I can take her to the prom?
Together for the first time in a double-sized, 1 full hour, 8 simple rules.
She can't wait to pimp this ride.
Friday, 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
Every Sunday, Extreme Makeover Home Edition makes dreams come true. On Monday, uncover the secrets behind the magic.
We're going to show you everything.
Don't stop. A brand new series.
How'd they do that?
Begins Monday, January 10th, only on ABC.
To make the most of every acre, you'll need superior control of over 120 weeds, unsurpassed crop safety, and a top-performing hybrid. To get all that, you'll need to start here. A hybrid with Liberty Link technology that allows you to use Liberty herbicide. Ask your retailer about Herculex One insect protection and other hybrids carrying the Liberty Link trait, and make the most of every acre.
The giant sequoia grows for more than 2,000 years. Unfortunately, we can't say the same. Here's to a good life. Farm Bureau for Life. Insurance, annuities, mutual fund.
At Carl Chevrolet, our prices have always been competitive. And now to help our customers save even more, we're introducing Tires for Life. Buy a new or used vehicle at Carl Chevrolet, and when the tires wear out, we'll replace them at no charge as long as you own the car. Get new tires, tire installation, valve stem, mounting, balancing. Buy a new or used vehicle and get brand name Tires for Life. At Carl Chevrolet, where we're doing things differently.
Chris Flanagan, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
ABC Sports coverage of the Capital One Bowl continues.
Delighted to have you with us, Gary Thorne at Cunningham, Dr. Jerry Punch, and a 3rd down and 5 at the Iowa 12. LSU trying to get this game tied up. On the first series, it was Iowa on the big pass play by Tate that put it in the end zone. You see in the red zone, LSU offense 83% effective. Iowa 62% stopping them. That's a pretty good percentage in the red zone. Big 3rd down play. LSU out of the shotgun from the 20. That one got blocked, incomplete. And the hit made as the ball was being released by Marcus Randall. A big rush put on by the Iowa defense.
Little too conservative, I think, down in the red zone early on. Nick Saban should have talked to Jimbo Fisher about maybe moving the pocket. But this time, again, Norm Parker blitzing. The other day when we met with him, he said, you asked him how much man-to-man blitz are you going to play? And he looked at you and said, probably none. Right now, they're about 50-50. And I don't think Marcus Randall is used to seeing that. He expected to see cover 2, maybe some cover 4. He's seen almost all man on key situations.
Field goal situation, 29-yarder. It is up and it is good. Chris Jackson on the kick. So Jackson puts it through. He is now 10 out of 16 in field goals on the season. So they do not come up with zeros at 7-3.
Let's go back a little bit for, Dr. Punch has been all week talking to people about the head coaching situation at LSU. Doc, you mentioned, front runners. Houston Nutt was a front runner for a while. Obviously, Bobby Petrino. What happened there? And also, what did you hear about Jimbo Fisher? A lot of people thinking he might get interviewed for the job.
Well, let me start with Jimbo Fisher first. Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator at LSU, has been on everyone's list of top 3 or 4 guys to hire as a coordinator. He is Auburn had the best 5 years they had in college football when he was their coordinator under Terry Bowden. They've had the best 5 years of winning here at LSU, all under Jimbo Fisher as a coordinator. He will be a head coach someday. The question was, last year he turned down Cincinnati as a head coaching job. He backed away from Mississippi State to stay here at LSU, maybe hoping that he would get a shot. But I think maybe he may not be quite ready to take on this big a program and maybe needs to get a program somewhere else, but he's certainly going to be a candidate. As far as the other guys, Houston Nutt in the SEC probably does more with less than any other coach in the conference. A viable candidate, but he's an Arkansas guy. Frank Broyles wanted him to stay at Arkansas, so Houston pulled his name out of the hat. Bobby Petrino at Louisville is loaded. The Cardinals have a lot of young talent. As you saw in their bowl game last night, he is loaded. He will stay at Louisville, so those two guys gone. Les Miles looks to be at the top of the list of those guys that left that they have interviewed thus far.
And obviously they want to wait here at LSU. They want this game to get done. They want the other coaches to be completed as well. That's why they're delaying, even if they've made a decision. We take it back. Oops! Off the helmet in the end zone. Got to get that covered, and they do to down at Damian Sims. Boy, we've had some bouncing footballs so far in this game. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. It is, how many head coaches have won both a college football national championship and a Super Bowl title in their career? How many?
Neither of them coached for the Oregon Ducks.
That wasn't the clue.
That's not the clue. All right, the clue is both of them coached in the state of Oklahoma. A little bit of a red herring there.
A red herring.
Off, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nick Saban's team getting on the board. Kirk Ferentz's team got on early. They've got the 7-3 lead for Iowa. Marcus Simmons is out there in the backfield. Iowa taking over a first down and 10. They've got the lead. Not much room there. Forced it up to about the 22-yard line. That was LaRon Landry who came up to put the hit on. Landry will be involved in a lot of tackles. He has been their leading tackler on this team for the last 2 years.
I think it's safe to say that Iowa will finish the day probably under 100 yards rushing unless they bust one, which will make their average, which right now is under 80 yards, the worst it's ever been at Iowa. Since they started keeping the stat back in the 30s, they've never averaged as low as they are this year, but they have to do it. There's just no way that you can expect Drew Tate to do everything. I mean, he almost does, but they have to do something to make sure that those safeties at least have to come down occasionally.
He's 3 for 7 in the passing game. That's going to be incomplete, but sure looked like a holding because it would have been a touchdown. Clinton Sullivan was going to go in a touchdown had he not been held from behind. Travis Daniels knew it, so he grabbed him.
Well, and these corners, it's really confusing to me how they don't know.
Pass interference, 29, defense, spot foul, automatic first down.
You know, the touchdown was by a senior, Corey Webster. This play, Travis Daniels, a senior, and a great move to the inside by Matt Malloy, but Travis Daniels has to know that the safety's not there. The safety that time, Jesse Daniels, had to come down and man coverage onto the tight end. You have to know where your help is or where it is not. And these senior corners, very confusing that they're not more dialed in for Nick Saban.
Brownlee is in the backfield as they get the first down at 10. Tate will pass on first down often, and this time he fumbles it as he gets hit. But Iowa recovers, and it's going to be at the 22-yard line. Kenneth Hollis, the junior Sam, put the hit on.
Hollis doing such a nice job. He's lined up over the tight end. Goes unblocked. A missed assignment by the left tackle that time, Lee Gray. He was supposed to bump out and block him, and Gray is the guy as he goes to chase Hollis because he knew he was supposed to block him. At least he had one heads-up play during that series.
These quarterbacks on both sides are finding it hard
hammered
to get any room. A sack, loss of 11, second down and 21. Second and 21 for Iowa. They are back on about their own 23-yard line, and Tate doesn't like what he sees. Drew Tate will take the timeout. So here in the first half, the defenses are dominating in this game, even though Iowa was able to get on the board with a long pass to Clinton Sullivan on their first series.
I want to return this duck.
Why?
It's very annoying. It just says the same thing over and over again. Go ahead, say it. Say it. Just once, say it. What?
What about him?
If you're hurt and can't work, you get cash for bills, rent, food from Aflac. Huh? Okay.
Aflac.
If you're hurt and can't work, you
This is much better. At least I learned something.
They set up in the eye on this, the last play of the game. And here's the snap. Hand off to the tailback. Peterson tries the right side. Wow, what a hit. But he stays on his feet, and he's broken to the outside, and it's wide open. Touchdown. Give him a touchdown.
inspiration redefine the order of things? Can uncommon luxury and heavy power actually rewrite the description of the perfect sports sedan? Apparently so. Introducing the 2005 Motor Trend Car of the Year, the Chrysler 300, starting at $23,995. Chrysler, inspiration comes standard.
They'll be holding. Scoring. Illegal forward passes. All committed by 25 tight ends. It's a whole new ball game. Don't miss the 2-hour season premiere of The Bachelorette. Monday, January 10th, only on ABC.
Iowa leading here in the Capital One Bowl, the first meeting ever for these two teams, Iowa LSU. The defenses, which were expected to be strong, have been just that so far, with 13:15 left to go here in the first half. Tate coming out. This is going to be second down, long yardage. Second down and 21. He'll roll to the near side, loves to throw. 4 receivers going deep. Good coverage, goes over the middle. That'll be incomplete. Incomplete pass intended for Matt Malloy. And Doc, we've already said they're going to pass a lot more than they run.
Exactly, Gary. These two teams evenly matched everywhere except in the run game. Take a look at the LSU led the SEC in rushing this year, averaging 200.7 yards per game, 2,208 yards, and with the majority of that coming with 3 running backs, 1,800 yards to 3 running backs. They were 20th in the nation. Look at Iowa, the worst in the country running the football, 117th, less than 75 yards a game, a total for the entire year net yards, 824, and they used 11 different running backs to get 824 yards because of all the injuries.
You see today, Iowa rushing 8 carries, 4 yards. LSU not much better. And another takedown. Back of the 14-yard line. Claude Rutten, who we're going to hear from a lot today as well. This guy will disrupt a lot of offenses. He is a first-team SEC. And again, Iowa thrown for a loss.
Mississippi Delta Community College was where Claude Rutten was last year. Came in time for spring ball, but the coaches said that the light didn't quite go on for Mr. Rutten until the end of the season. LSU, a very diverse defensive package, like a lot of schools are running now. And they said they saw flickers at the beginning of the year, but this guy, a legitimate NFL guy.
Bradley back at his own 5 when he finally gets it off. Pretty good rush put on. Kick will be taken at midfield. Look out here to the 45-yard line. Not able to find any room. Skylar Green on the return. But again, good field position for LSU. Well, we had our trivia question earlier, brought to you by Aflac. How many head coaches have won both the college national championship and a Super Bowl in their career? And the answer is...
Well, I said they both coached in Oklahoma. I was throwing a little bit of a red herring. Jimmy Johnson, of course, won his national championship at Miami, but came there from Oklahoma State. And then Barry Switzer, who followed Jimmy with the Dallas Cowboys and took his players to a Super Bowl, won it while he was at Oklahoma.
And there's your answer to our Aflac trivia question. And now we're going to have Nick Saban moving on.
See if he can try it.
So he's going to try it with Miami as the new coach of the Dolphins. First down and 10. Ball from the 45-yard line. Good field position. Looking deep. Randall's going back there all the way towards the end zone. Overthrown everybody. Better chance that time on the coverage for Johnson to have the interception as Marcus Randall let it rip. They were going for the long bomb.
There is just nobody open for Marcus Randall right now. And Norm Parker, we mentioned last night, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, spent the night in the hospital. He suffers from diabetes. He's back. First year he's ever had to coach from the booth. He said he'd much rather be down on the field, and right now calling a masterful game. He's changing up man and zone, and that's not what you would expect to see from Iowa.
And Randall, who was intercepted 5 times through 9 TD passes. This time will take it himself. Boy, there's not much room. What a hit put on at the 45-yard line. That was George Lewis, who picked up Randall and gave him a lick.
Well, the questions have been answered that the Iowa coaches had. They were worried not only Broussard at 235, but Randall's 225. You don't tackle much better than that. Face in the chest, wrap him up. And Lewis, the guy that doesn't get a lot of talk as a senior because of the 2 juniors, Greenway and Hodge, doing a nice job.
Good tackle. The offense is struggling. 3rd down and 10. Iowa leading here 7-3. The 3rd down play, 43% conversion rate for LSU during the season, and looking deep on this one. That is caught at the 30-yard line, and that's going to be enough for a first down. That is Dwayne Bowie who made the reception. He's had a couple of long receptions. Antoine Allen got him. It'll be enough for a 13-yard gain.
Well, Antoine Allen is dropping back into zone coverage, but at some point he's got to squat down. He just continues to bail. And Bo just pushes him off, pushes him off, pushes him off, does a really nice job, and then just does the out cut. But at some point, you've got to let that cushion of air, if there's nobody threatening you over the top on some kind of post behind you, you got to let that receiver get closer to you and squat down.
Randall 5 out of 8 so far in the air. Day comes into that backfield and will carry, but nowhere to go. Look at the dark colored jerseys over there for Iowa. It'll be a loss of 5 as they try to sweep it wide. Nowhere to go with it. Babineau, Hodge were there.
So the team that led the SEC in rushing now has a total of -7 yards. This Iowa defense, it's all built up front. Matt Roth, we talked about at the beginning of the show, the All-Big Ten defensive end. Babineau, who's going on to Sundays after this year. Greenway, Hodges, both first-team Big Ten. They are dominating this game so far, as the LSU front is, except for the one big play by Iowa.
Iowa was 6th best in the nation rushing defense, and they are showing why here today. Find a little room up the middle, and that's going to be at the 30-yard line. Adai on the carry. He's a junior at 210 who averaged on 90 attempts about 7 yards per carry. Delighted to have you with us here in Orlando for the Capital One Bowl. Iowa got on the board in their first series on the long touchdown pass that went to Solomon. But since then, it has been defense both ways. Field goal picked up by LSU has put them on the board, and 7-3 is where we are at. Now we get another big third down play. 3rd down and 9. They bring in the 4 receivers. Iowa comes up and matches them at the line of scrimmage as they go man-to-man, looking deep, end zone, corner open, incomplete. Off the fingertips that time of Greg Davis, the sophomore, and Randall just missed the TD.
Considine, the senior safety, comes over late. Watch him come here. He does an excellent job of turning and running with Craig Davis. Gets back into position. A good throw by the quarterback, but Considine in good position, and Davis just not able to make a play. The LSU fans wanted PI, but that was all incidental contact.
That was good coverage. So a long field goal coming. Jackson's got a 47-yarder that he is going to try and kick here for LSU. Ball down. Jackson's kick is up long enough, and it is good. 47-yard field goal. Good kick by Jackson, and the applause from his head coach. It makes it a 1-point game with 9:26 left to go here in the first half. 7-6.
Can inspiration replace the typical small car with something that lives a little larger? More space. More function. More sizzle. America's best small car alternative just got a little better. The Chrysler PT Cruiser. Now starting at just $13,995. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
Hi, I'd like to redeem my credit card miles. Someplace warm?
No.
But I'm in Chicago. It's freezing.
Ooh, I predict a no storm.
Can my miles get me to Mexico?
No way, Jose.
St. Thomas?
Ain't happening.
Hawaii.
The Capital One Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive presentation brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller. Good call. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. And Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Jackson, the man who's getting it done. Back is Damian Sims, who had that ball bounce off his helmet the last time he was back there, looking to get it.
Hopefully clean the windshield this time.
He won't have to handle this one. It'll be taken by Bellis, the 11. Ooh, and he got hit twice at the 15-yard line. Ricochet hits right there. Good coverage put on. The hit made by E.J. Cawley.
$120.90.
I'll just put it on the credit card.